Welcome to the Microsoft DP-600 Practice Questions Series, implementing analytics solutions using Microsoft Fabric. This is Episode 1. Today we cover the complete Case Study 1, Contoso, Limited. We show the full scenario first, exactly as it appears in the real exam, followed by all 13 questions from this case study, with thinking pauses and complete explanations. 13 questions. 1 case study. Approximately 35 minutes. Let's begin. Before we get to the questions, read through the full Contoso case study carefully. All 13 questions in this episode are based on this scenario. Overview. Contoso, Limited is a US-based health supplements company. Contoso has 2 divisions, sales and research. The sales division contains 2 departments, online sales and retail sales. The research division assigns internally developed product lines to individual teams of researchers and analysts. Identity environment. Contoso has a Microsoft intra-tenant named Contoso.com. The tenant contains 2 groups, Research Reviewers Group 1 and Research Reviewers Group 2. Data environment. The sales division uses a Microsoft Power BI premium capacity. The semantic model of the online sales department includes a fact table named Orders that uses import mode. In the system of origin, the order ID value represents the sequence in which orders are created. The research department uses an on-premises, third-party data warehousing product. Fabric is enabled for Contoso.com Azure data. Lake Storage Gen 2 account named Storage1 contains Research Division data for Productline1 in Delta format. Azure data, Lake Storage Gen 2 account named Storage2 contains Research Division data for Productline2 in CSV format. All right. Planned changes. Enable support for Fabric in the Power BI premium capacity used by the sales division. Make all data for the sales and research divisions available in Fabric. For the research division, create 2 Fabric workspaces, Productline1 WS and Productline2 WS. In Productline1 WS, create a lakehouse named Lakehouse1. In Lakehouse1, create a shortcut to Storage1 named ResearchProduct. Data analytics requirements. All workspaces for sales and research must support all Fabric experiences. Research division workspaces must use a dedicated, on-demand capacity with per-minute billing. Research division workspaces must be grouped together logically to support OneLake Data Hub filtering based on department name. Research Reviewers Group 1, members must read Lakehouse and Warehouse data and shortcuts using SQL endpoints. Research Reviewers Group 2 members must read Lakehouse data using Lakehouse Explorer. All semantic models and reports for research must use version control that supports branching. Data preparation requirements. Research division data for Productline1 must be retrieved from Lakehouse1 using Fabric notebooks. All research division data in the Lakehouses must be presented as managed tables in Lakehouse Explorer. Semantic model requirements. The number of rows added to the orders table during refreshes must be minimized. The semantic models in the research division workspaces must use direct lake mode. General requirements. Follow the principle of least privilege when applicable. Minimize implementation and maintenance effort when possible. You now have the complete Contoso scenario. Questions 1 through 13 follow now. Question 1 of 13. Task. You need to ensure that Contoso can use version control to meet the data analytics requirements and the general requirements. What should you do? Option A. Store the semantic models and reports in Data Lake Gen 2 storage. Option B. Modify the settings of the research workspaces to use a GitHub repository. Option C. Modify the settings of the research division workspaces to use an Azure Repos repository. Option D. Store all the semantic models and reports in Microsoft OneDrive. You have 30 seconds. Which option gives native version control with branching in Microsoft Fabric? The correct answer is C. Why C is correct? Azure Repos, part of Azure DevOps, provides Git-based version control with full branching support and integrates natively with Microsoft Fabric Workspace settings. This satisfies both the version control requirement and the general requirement to minimize implementation effort. Why the others are wrong? Option A. Data Lake. Gen 2 is cloud storage, not version control. There is no branching capability. Option B. GitHub is not a supported native Fabric Workspace integration. Option D. OneDrive is file storage with no version control or branching. Question 2 of 13. Important. This is a drop-down selection question with 2 fields to complete. The requirement states, the research division workspaces must be grouped together logically to support OneLake Data Hub filtering based on department name. Task. You need to recommend a solution to group the research division workspaces. Field 1. Grouping method. Choose from capacity, domain, or tenant. Field 2. Tool. Choose from OneLake Data Hub, the Fabric Admin Portal, or the Microsoft Entra Admin Center. You have 30 seconds. Think about which grouping method enables OneLake Data Hub filtering and which tool is used to configure it. The correct answers are grouping method, domain. Tool, the Fabric Admin Portal. Why domain is correct for grouping method. Microsoft Fabric domains allow logical grouping of workspaces. When workspaces are assigned to a domain, users can filter the OneLake Data Hub by domain name, which maps directly to filtering by department name. This is the exact Fabric feature designed for this requirement. Why the Fabric Admin Portal is correct for tool. Domains are created and workspaces assigned to them through the Fabric Admin Portal. This is the configuration interface for domain management in Fabric. Why the others are wrong. OneLake Data Hub is the place you browse and filter data. It is the destination, not the configuration tool. The Microsoft Entra Admin Center manages identity and security groups, not Fabric Workspace grouping. Question 3 of 13. Remember from the scenario, the number of rows added to the orders table during refreshes must be minimized. Also, order ID represents the sequence in which orders are created. Task. You need to refresh the orders table of the online sales department. The solution must meet the semantic model requirements. What should you include in the solution? Option A. An Azure Data Factory pipeline that executes a stored procedure activity to retrieve the maximum value of the order ID column in the destination lakehouse. Option B. An Azure Data Factory pipeline that executes a stored procedure activity to retrieve the minimum value of the order ID column in the destination lakehouse. Option C. An Azure Data Factory pipeline that executes a data flow to retrieve the minimum value of the order ID column in the destination lakehouse. Option D. An Azure Data Factory pipeline that executes a data flow to retrieve the maximum value of the order ID column in the destination lakehouse. You have 30 seconds. Think about 2 things. Which value tells you the last row loaded, and which tool is correct in this fabric context. The correct answer is D. Why D is correct? This is the incremental refresh pattern. The maximum order ID already in the destination is the last row that was loaded. You then load only rows with an order ID greater than that maximum, meaning only new orders since the last refresh. This minimizes the number of rows added. A data flow inside an Azure Data Factory pipeline supports a variety of transformation and data retrieval operations, including querying for the maximum value of a column. This makes it the correct tool in this fabric-based scenario. Why the others are wrong? Options A and B use a stored procedure activity. A data flow is the correct tool in this ADF plus fabric pipeline context, not a stored procedure activity. Option C uses minimum order ID. The minimum would cause you to reload a large number of existing rows, the exact opposite of minimizing. Question 4 of 13. Remember from the scenario. In Lakehouse 1, there is a shortcut named ResearchProduct. This shortcut points to Storage 1, which holds Productline1 data in Delta format. The data must be accessed from Lakehouse 1 using Fabric notebooks. Task: which syntax should you use in a Fabric notebook to access the research division data for Productline1? Option A, spark.read. .format, quote, delta.load, open bracket, quote, tables/Productline1/researchproduct, close bracket. Option B, spark.sql, open bracket, quote, select star from Lakehouse 1.researchproduct, close bracket. Option C, external_table, open bracket, quote, tables/researchproduct, close bracket. Option D, external_table, open bracket, research product, close bracket. You have 30 seconds. Think about how shortcuts are registered inside a Fabric Lakehouse. The correct answer is B. Why B is correct? In Microsoft Fabric, shortcuts are registered as managed tables within the Lakehouse namespace. Research Product is a shortcut inside Lakehouse 1, so it is exposed as the table Lakehouse1.researchproduct. The correct notebook syntax is Spark SQL, using this Lakehouse table reference. Why the others are wrong? Option A. The delta load path syntax reads from raw file paths. Shortcuts are not accessible via raw file paths. They are registered as named tables in the Lakehouse. Options C and D, external_table, is not a valid function in Fabric notebooks. This syntax does not exist. Question 5 of 13. Remember from the scenario. The research division workspaces must use a dedicated, on-demand capacity with per-minute billing. Task: you need to recommend which type of fabric capacity, SKU, meets the data analytics requirements for the research division. What should you recommend? Option A, an A, Azure, SKU capacity. Option B, an EM, embedded, SKU capacity. Option C, an F, Fabric, SKU capacity. Option D, a P, Power BI Premium, SKU capacity. You have 30 seconds. Which SKU family is specifically built for on-demand, per-minute build fabric capacity? The correct answer is the F, Fabric, SKU. Why F is correct. The Research Division workspaces require a dedicated on-demand capacity with per-minute billing. That is a defining feature of the Fabric, F, SKU family, which also supports all Fabric experiences and aligns with minimizing implementation effort. Why the others are wrong. An ASKU is a legacy Azure capacity option, not a Fabric on-demand capacity. An EMSKU is a Power BI embedded capacity, reserved capacity, not the per-minute on-demand billing the requirement calls for. APSKU is a Power BI premium capacity, already used by the sales division and not the dedicated on-demand model research needs. Question 6 of 13. Important. This is a code completion question with 2 drop-down fields. Remember from the scenario, Storage 1 holds Product Line 1 data, and all Research Division data in the lakehouses must be presented as managed tables in Lakehouse Explorer. Task. You need to migrate the Research Division data for Product Line 1 into Lakehouse 1. Complete the code. df.write.mode, open parenthesis, quote overwrite, close parenthesis, dot format, open parenthesis, blank, close parenthesis, dot save, open parenthesis, blank, close parenthesis. Field 1, format, choose from CSV, Delta, or Parquet. Field 2, save path. Choose from Product Line 1, Tables/Product Line 1, or Tables/Research/Product Line 1. You have 30 seconds. Think about what format managed tables require and where managed tables are stored inside a lakehouse. The correct answers are Format, Delta, Save Path, Tables/Product Line 1. Why Delta is correct. The data preparation requirement says all Research Division data must be presented as managed tables in Lakehouse Explorer. Managed tables must be Delta format. CSV and Parquet files are not registered as Lakehouse tables automatically. Why Tables/Product Line 1 is correct. Managed tables live under the Tables folder in a Lakehouse. Saving to Tables/Product Line 1 registers it as a proper managed table, visible in Lakehouse Explorer. Why the others are wrong. Saving to Product Line 1 with no prefix writes to the unmanaged root. It will not appear as a managed table. Tables/Research/Product Line 1 adds an extra subfolder that does not match any naming convention used elsewhere in the scenario. Question 7 of 13. Remember from the scenario, the semantic models in the Research Division workspaces must use direct lake mode, and the general requirement is to minimize implementation and maintenance effort. Task. You need to implement calculation groups for the Research Division semantic models. The solution must minimize implementation and maintenance effort. What should you use? Option A, Microsoft Power OATS BI Desktop. Option B, the Power BI Service. Option C, Tabular Editor. Option D, DAX Studio. You have 30 seconds. Which tool actually supports authoring calculation groups today? The correct answer is Tabular Editor. Why Tabular Editor is correct. Tabular Editor has long supported creating calculation group tables, calculation items, and format string expressions directly against the model, making it the fastest, lowest effort path, and it works equally well against direct lake semantic models. Why the others are wrong? B. iDesktop still has no native UI for creating calculation groups. You would need an external tool anyway. The Power BI service is for consuming and sharing reports, not authoring model-level objects like calculation groups. DAX Studio is built for query analysis and performance tuning. It cannot create or edit calculation groups. Question 8 of 13. Important. This is a drop-down selection question with 2 fields to complete. Remember from the scenario, Research Reviewers Group 1 must read Lakehouse and Warehouse data and shortcuts using SQL endpoints. Research Reviewers Group 2 must read Lakehouse data using Lakehouse Explorer. Task. Which workspace role assignments should you recommend for Research Reviewers Group 1 and Research Reviewers Group 2? Field 1. Research Reviewers Group 1. Choose from Contributor, Member, or Viewer. Field 2. Research Reviewers Group 2. Choose from Contributor, Member, or Viewer. You have 30 seconds. Think about exactly what each role can and cannot do with a Lakehouse's SQL endpoint versus Lakehouse Explorer. The correct answers are Research Reviewers Group 1, Viewer. Research Reviewers Group 2, Contributor. Why Viewer is correct for Group 1. Research Reviewers Group 1 only needs to read Lakehouse and Warehouse data via SQL endpoints. The Viewer role grants exactly that, read-only access through the SQL Analytics endpoint, nothing more, nothing less. Why Contributor is correct for Group 2. Research Reviewers Group 2 needs to read data using Lakehouse Explorer, the tables and files browsing interface. A viewer cannot open Lakehouse Explorer at all. Only Contributor or a higher role can, making Contributor the least privileged role that satisfies the requirement. Why the others are wrong. Member would be overprivileged for Group 1. Member allows editing and sharing, more than a read-only SQL requirement needs. Viewer would be insufficient for Group 2. A viewer cannot browse Lakehouse Explorer at all. Question 9 of 13. Important. This is a code completion question with 2 drop-down fields, just like question 6, but this time for product line 2. Remember from the scenario, Storage 2 holds product line 2 data in CSV format. Task. You need to migrate the research division data for product line 2 into Lakehouse 1. Complete the code. df.write.mode, open parenthesis, quote overwrite, close parenthesis, dot format, open parenthesis, blank, close parenthesis, dot save, open parenthesis, blank, close parenthesis. Field 1, format, choose from CSV, Delta, or Parquet. Field 2, save path. Choose from product line 2, tables/product line 2, or tables/research/product line 2. You have 30 seconds. Same logic as product line 1. Think about format and folder. The correct answers are Format, Delta, Save Path, tables/Productline2. Why delta is correct. Just like Productline1, all research division data must be presented as managed tables in Lakehouse Explorer, which requires delta format. CSV and Parquet files are not auto-registered as Lakehouse tables. Why tables/Productline2 is correct. Managed tables live under the Tables folder. Saving to tables/Productline2 registers it correctly as a managed table. Why the others are wrong. Saving to Productline2 with no prefix saves to the unmanaged root. It will not be presented as a managed table. Tables/Research/Productline2 adds an extra subfolder not used anywhere else in the scenario. Question 10 of 13. This is the first of 4 variations on notebook syntax for accessing the Research Product shortcut. The exam tests this concept from several angles, so let's work through each one. Task: which syntax should you use in a notebook to access the research division data for Productline1? Option A, spark.read, .format, quote delta, .load, open bracket, quote files/researchproduct, close bracket. Option B, spark.sql, open bracket, quote select star from lakehouse1.researchproduct, close bracket. Option C, spark.sql, open bracket, quote select star from lakehouse1.tables.researchproduct, close bracket. Option D, external_table, open parenthesis, research product, close parenthesis. You have 30 seconds. The correct answer is B. Why B is correct. Research Product is registered as a managed table inside Lakehouse 1. Spark SQL can reference it directly as lakehouse1.researchproduct. No extra schema or path needed. Why the others are wrong. Option A. Files/ is the unmanaged files area, not where registered tables live. This path will not resolve to the shortcut. Option C. Adding .tables. Is unnecessary. Lakehouse1.researchproduct is already the correct direct reference. Option D. External_table is not a valid Fabric notebook function. Question 11. You need to access the research division data for Productline1 in a notebook. Research Product is a shortcut in Lakehouse 1 that points to Storage 1 in Delta format. Which syntax should you use? Review the 4 options on screen. You have 10 seconds. The correct answer is C. Because Research Product appears as a managed table under the Tables folder, you read it with a Delta format load from the Tables path. Option A points at the Files area, which is for unmanaged files, not managed tables. And options B and D use External Table, which is not a valid Fabric notebook function. Question 12. Again, you need to access the research division data for Productline1, where Research Product is a Delta shortcut in Lakehouse 1. Which syntax should you use? Review the 4 options on screen. You have 10 seconds. The correct answer is C. The shortcut sits directly inside Lakehouse 1 with no subfolder, so its managed table path is simply Tables, Research Product, Read with a Delta format load. Option A adds an unnecessary tables segment to the SQL reference. Option B nests the table under a Productline1 folder that is not part of the real path. And Option D uses external table, which is not a valid function. Question 13 of 13, the final question of this episode. Fourth and final variation on notebook syntax for Research Product. Task: which syntax should you use in a notebook to access the research division data for Productline1? Option A, spark.read.format, quote delta, dot load, open bracket, quote tables/research product, close bracket. Option B, spark.read.format, quote delta, dot load, open bracket, quote files/research product, close bracket. Option C, spark.sql, open bracket, quote select star from Lakehouse 1.productline, 1.research product, close bracket. Option D, spark.read.format, quote delta, dot load, open bracket, quote tables/productline, 1/research product, close bracket. You have 30 seconds. Last one. Trust what you have learned across the last 3 questions. The correct answer is A. Why A is correct. Research Product is a managed table registered directly in Lakehouse 1. The simple direct path tables/research product is all that is needed. Why the others are wrong. Option B, files/ is the unmanaged area, not where a registered managed table lives. Option C, Lakehouse 1.productline1.research product is not valid. Spark SQL syntax. Lakehouse names do not nest like this. Option D, there is no Productline 1/subfolder in the real path. The shortcut sits directly in Lakehouse 1. And that is all 13 questions for Case Study 1, Contoso Limited, the complete case study. The full answer key is on screen. Question 1, C, Azure repos. Question 2, Domain and the Fabric Admin Portal. Question 3, D, ADF Dataflow, Max Order ID. Question 4, B, Spark SQL, Lakehouse 1.research product. Question 5, F, Fabric Capacity SKU. Question 6, Delta Format, Tables/Productline1. Question 7, Tabular Editor. Question 8, Viewer and Contributor. Question 9, Delta Format, Tables/Productline2. Question 10, Spark SQL, Lakehouse 1.research product. Question 11, Tables/research product. Question 12, Tables/research product. Question 13, Tables/research product. Drop your score in the comments. How many did you get right out of 13? In Episode 2, we move on to Case Study 2, Litware Incorporated. Full scenario, more questions, same format. Subscribe so you don't miss it. If this helped, please give it a like and share it with anyone preparing for DP-600. See you in Episode 2.